I never believed secrets could walk into your life at midnight, but that's exactly what happened to me. It was my first semester in college, and life was as ordinary as it could get. My days were filled with lectures I barely understood, cheap coffee from the campus cafe, and late-night gaming sessions in my dorm. My roommate had gone home for the weekend, so I had the whole space to myself. A rare kind of freedom I didn't want to waste. That night, I left the window cracked open, letting the cool autumn breeze flow into the room. The campus outside was quiet, except for the occasional laughter from students walking back from a late movie. I lay on my bed scrolling through my phone, trying to distract myself from the loneliness that always hit harder on nights like this. And then, I heard it. A faint rustle, like fabric brushing against the floor. At first, I thought it was just the wind knocking something over. But when I looked up, my heart nearly stopped. There, standing in the corner of my dorm room, was someone. A boy. He looked about my age, maybe 19 or 20. His clothes were nothing like the hoodies and jeans most students wore. Instead, he wore something that looked straight out of a fantasy novel. A dark velvet coat embroidered with golden patterns, a silver chain around his neck that glowed faintly in the lamplight, and boots that looked far too expensive for anyone on this campus. His hair fell in messy waves around his face, and his eyes... God, his eyes were the kind of blue that didn't belong to this world. I shot up from my bed. "Who the hell are you?" I demanded, my voice louder than I intended. He raised a finger to his lips. "Please, keep your voice down." The calmness in his tone didn't match the situation at all. My heart was pounding out of my chest, but he stood there as if appearing in a stranger's dorm room was the most natural thing in the world. I'll call security," I stammered, grabbing my phone. "Don't," he said sharply. For a moment his eyes flashed with something that looked like fear. "Please, I mean no harm. I just needed somewhere safe." I didn't lower my phone. "Safe from what?" He hesitated, glancing toward the window as if expecting someone, or something, to appear. Then he looked back at me, his expression softening. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me," I shot back. He let out a shaky breath, then said words that would flip my entire world upside down. "I'm not from here. Not from this world." I blinked at him, certain he was insane. "You've got to be kidding me." But he wasn't smiling. He wasn't joking. His eyes were deadly serious, shimmering with something heavy. A secret too big for one person to carry. "My name is Kael," he said finally, "and I'm the prince of a kingdom you've never heard of. A kingdom that exists parallel to yours. I escaped here because they want me dead." I froze. The way he said it, the tremor in his voice, the desperation in his eyes. It didn't feel like some role-play act or prank. It felt real. And against all reason, against all logic, a part of me believed him. I don't know why I didn't throw him out right then. Maybe it was the way his voice trembled when he said they wanted him dead. Or maybe it was those eyes. Too intense. Too haunted to belong to a liar. I lowered my phone slowly. "If you're really a prince," I said carefully, "then where's your crown? Your guards? Your whatever?" Kael's lips curved into the faintest bitter smile. "That's the problem with being hunted. You lose everything, except the fear." His words sent a chill through me. He glanced out the window again, and for a moment, I swear the air shifted. A faint shimmer, like heat rising off asphalt, danced in the distance outside. When I blinked, it was gone. "What the hell was that?" I whispered. Kael shook his head. "They're close. I crossed into your world through a tear. It won't stay open for long. I shouldn't even be here, but if I hadn't jumped, I'd be dead already." My brain screamed at me to call security, to run, to do something. But instead I found myself asking, why me? Why my room? He looked at me then. Really looked. And for the first time I saw vulnerability in his expression. Because I saw your window. The light, it felt safe. Something in my chest twisted. Safe. I never thought of my messy little dorm as safe, but hearing him say it like that, it did something to me. He stepped closer, slow, careful, as if testing whether I'd push him away. I know how insane this must sound, he whispered, but I swear on everything I have left. I'm telling you the truth, and God help me. I believed him. I should have asked more questions, but instead I found myself staring at him. At the way the lamplight softened his sharp features, at the exhaustion in his posture, like he hadn't slept in days. He looked both powerful and broken, like a prince without a kingdom. Finally I muttered, "Fine, you can stay tonight. But tomorrow I need answers." His shoulders relaxed as though a weight had been lifted. He nodded. "Thank you." I gave him a spare blanket and watched as he curled up on the floor, too proud to take my bed. I lay awake for hours, listening to the sound of his breathing. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that shimmer outside the window. Every time I opened them, I saw him. Kael. The boy who claimed to be a prince from another world. The next day, everything was different. Classes blurred by as I kept replaying the night in my head. When I returned to my dorm, Kael was still there. He had changed into one of my hoodies and a pair of sweatpants I'd tossed him. And somehow, even in those plain clothes, he still looked like someone who didn't belong here. "You look normal," I muttered. "Good," he said, almost smiling. "That's what I need to be." I sat on the bed across from him. "So, talk. Who's chasing you?" "Why?" His gaze darkened. "My uncle. He wants the throne. To take it, he has to get rid of me. Assassins, spies, they'll stop at nothing." When I realized they'd found me, I escaped through the veil. The barrier between my world and yours. It wasn't supposed to happen like this, but... He trailed off, his jaw tight. I shook my head. "This is insane." "I know," he whispered. "But it's real." I should have laughed, called him delusional. But something about the way he spoke, the pain in his voice, the conviction in his eyes, it felt undeniable. And against every ounce of logic, I found myself leaning in, listening. "Why tell me?" I asked. He hesitated, his fingers tightening on the fabric of my hoodie. "Because I have no one else, and because you didn't turn me away last night. Most people would have screamed, called the police, but you didn't." His eyes locked on mine, and for a moment the world outside faded. I could hear my own heartbeat, loud and reckless. I swallowed. "You just caught me off guard, that's all." Kael's lips curved into a small, knowing smile. "Maybe, or maybe you're different." My chest tightened. I didn't know what he meant, but the way he said it, it stirred something inside me I wasn't ready to face. That night, when he finally drifted to sleep on the floor again, I lay awake once more. Only this time I wasn't afraid. I was curious. About him, about his world, about why in just 2 days this stranger had made my small, ordinary life feel extraordinary. I thought I was getting used to him. Kael. The runaway prince who'd turned my dorm room into his hiding place. But nothing could have prepared me for the night everything changed. It started with the lights. They flickered once, twice, and then the whole room plunged into darkness. My phone buzzed with a notification, but before I could check it, Kael was already on his feet. His entire body went rigid, like a soldier sensing an ambush. "They're here," he whispered. My stomach dropped. "What do you mean? Who—" Before I could finish, the window shattered. Glass rained across the floor as a figure in dark armor stepped through, glowing symbols etched across their chest plate. The air felt heavy, charged, like it was bending around them. Kael shoved me behind him instantly. "Stay back!" he ordered. I'd never heard his voice like that before. Sharp, commanding, royal. And for the first time, I realized he wasn't lying. The intruder raised a blade that shimmered unnaturally. as though carved from light itself. "By order of the crown," the voice boomed, distorted through some kind of helm. "The runaway prince must die." My breath caught. Prince. They'd said it. Out loud. Kael didn't hesitate. With a motion too fast for me to track, he drew something from under his hoodie. A dagger, glowing faintly, humming with the same impossible energy as the assassin's blade. Steel clashed with light. Sparks flew. The room shook. I stumbled back, pressing myself against the wall, my heart racing so hard I thought it would burst. I wanted to look away. I couldn't. Kael fought like someone who had everything to lose. Every strike, every movement was desperate, furious, alive. For a moment it looked like he might win. But then, the assassin fainted, swung low, and Kael staggered, his dagger clattering across the floor. "No!" I shouted. Without thinking, I dove for the blade. My fingers closed around the hilt, and a shock jolted through me. The weapon pulsed like a heartbeat, responding to me, burning in my grip, but not enough to let go. The assassin turned, raising their weapon to strike me down. And in that instant, Kael was there again, grabbing my wrist, steadying my hand, guiding the dagger upward. Together we thrust. The blade sank into the assassin's chest. Light burst outward in a blinding flash, and when it faded, the intruder was gone. Vanished. Silence. I realized then that I was pressed against Kael, our hands still locked on the dagger's hilt, our breaths mingling in the darkness. My chest was heaving, my entire body trembling. But he was steady, strong. His eyes locked on mine, burning with something I couldn't name. "You saved me," he whispered. I shook my head, still in shock. We saved each other. For a long moment, neither of us moved. The world outside could have been falling apart. But in that little dorm room, it was just us. Two boys holding on to each other like the ground beneath us had cracked open. Finally, Kael let out a shaky laugh, the sound half relief, half disbelief. "I never thought I'd find someone like you here. Someone who'd believe me. Stand with me." His words hit deeper than I expected. My throat tightened. "I don't know what this means, Kael, or what happens next, but I don't want you to go through it alone." For a moment, his expression softened completely. The prince, the fighter, the fugitive, all of it fell away, leaving only a boy my age, looking at me like I was his anchor in a storm. "I don't want to be alone anymore either," he admitted. And then, slowly, carefully, he leaned closer. Not rushed, not desperate, just real. When his forehead brushed mine, I felt my chest ignite with something I couldn't explain. Something terrifying, something exhilarating, something alive. We didn't need to say it out loud. The silence said enough. That night, the danger wasn't over. I knew the assassins would come again. I knew Kael's world would never stop hunting him. But I also knew one thing for certain. Whatever came next, he wouldn't face it alone. Because I was already in too deep. Because somewhere between the fear and the fight, I'd found something I never expected. Something worth risking everything for. If this story touched you, please take a second to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves emotional, slow-burn romances. Your support means the world, and it keeps these stories coming. Tell me in the comments, would you have believed Kael if he showed up at your door?